Welcome back to the Blood Prison Shakedown. We have been gone a little while. A lot's happened since the last one, but we're back. And we went to Transworld, and I got to talk about that. It's a fun time, and I'm going to keep it all Blood Prison this go around. I brought my two tech/builder guys in, Anthony Phillips and Nicolas. How you guys doing today?
Excellent.
Great.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, I love these one-word answers already. All right.
The good energy.
Anthony's been with me since, God, I don't know, you started in 2018, 17?
17, 18, somewhere.
Yeah.
Right
2017, took a little break. You were off for, I think, one season. Came back, actor, tech, builder. Got actor of the year, I believe, one year. So Anthony's been with us for quite a while. And I coined his name, Anthony. Even though that is his name, but nobody used to call him that until he came here.
What happened to Chainsaw Tony?
Chainsaw Tony, yeah. That was another one. We were on the news. I had him in there running around like a madman, and they wanted to know the guy's name, and I was like, that's Chainsaw Tony. And it kind of stuck for that season. Aaron is a music guy, came to us from the Renaissance Theater here in Mansfield, and he was also working at the Performing Arts Center here in Mansfield, which I hate because I wish we would have had those stuff when I was all that kind of stuff when we were
right?
My old ass was in high school. That would have been amazing.
Yep.
But that's where he came from, and he's got a background in music and sound, and he does a lot of our sound engineering and sound creating. He creates the sounds and all the music and everything, and does a lot of the video work as well. So welcome in, man.
Howdy.
It was Aaron's first time going to Transworld this year. Anthony was, I believe, your second time.
Yep, second.
So we were all, I mean, we get pumped every time we go. So it was a fun car ride down. Let's just say that. We drove, and we were going to get there no matter what. And I know it's been a minute since Transworld, and we're a little late to the game as far as a recap, but we're busy. What do you want from us, right? We would have made it to Transworld no matter what, and Aaron would have made sure of that. Just by some of the things we discussed, which is a blood prison thing, so we're not going to get into that. But what did you guys think of Transworld? Aaron, specifically you, because it was your first time there.
I loved it. I haven't, I'm new to the haunted attraction industry as a whole outside of working here with you guys.
Right.
And so I think being exposed to kind of the larger operation of just haunts and haunted attractions all over the country and all of the people, the seminars were incredible. I actually learned a lot, and even just interacting with some of the vendors and getting to see, especially the tech that's out there, and the ways that we can integrate it here at Blood Prison. It felt like I got to go back to college for 5 days and learn just a whole bunch of stuff, and then come back with a new arsenal of tools.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely a learning event for me as well.
Well, and Anthony, compare you went we took Anthony last year for the first time, and he was just like, wow, and he was like every time I'd see him, he was like, oh my God, dude, they do this and they got this. And he's like, I got to take you over to this booth because we got these. He was very excited.
It was overwhelming.
Yeah, it was. It is the first time. But tell me the difference from last year to this year. Because this year for me, I was like, this is the most I've ever been inspired coming back from Transworld.
There was a bunch of new things, up and coming things, like Chamber Creations has a mech that's coming out that's extremely smooth, lifelike movements.
Yeah.
Something unlike what you can get with any of the pneumatics that we see everywhere else.
Right.
First time we got introduced to AI on the show floor. Dr. Quantum was there. Distortions Unlimited.
Unlimited, yeah. Yep.
A product that they were marketing. It was pretty sassy. It sat there and talked to most people that were willing to give it some time.
Yeah, the big brain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just all the new stuff and what's coming down the pipe. I can see a lot of changes happening in the near future.
Yeah, for sure. And I am like so excited just talking to you guys. I don't know what got me more was talking to you guys or just the seminars I took, because even like the one marketing seminar I took was like, holy shit, this is like real. And then talking to you guys like in between the classes, like, where'd you guys go? Oh, we did this, and holy shit, this is what we're gonna do this year in this area. And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I was just like blown away.
Yep.
So if you've never been to Transworld, it's in St. Louis, Missouri every year, usually in March. I think this year it's going to be the very beginning tail end of February. I think it's 29th through the 3rd, I think, in 2025. But it's usually in March. It's a Halloween convention that most major attractions go to, and there's other ones too. But this is kind of your standard where you're going to go and buy a lot of your stuff. And it's even get to the point now where I order a lot ahead of time and then just try to fill in the stuff once you're there because it's just getting so big, the haunted attraction industry. But if you've never been there, I'm telling you, you got to go. It's for everybody. So what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of go through some videos that I took as I was walking around of some places. We'll chat about that. And there's just so many. I couldn't get everywhere I wanted. And just seeing my list, I was kind of like, oh, shit, I didn't get them. I really wish I would have. But we'll go through what I got. I got like 17 different places that I hit just real quick. So let's get the first one up here, Sarah, the Beastcraft video. Let's see that one. Beastcraft is a company right here in Ohio. They're down in Columbus. Dustin Dreup, I believe, is the owner. He's actually been on the podcast. I've had him come in here, and we talked about everything that he does down there, and they are spectacular, I got to say. All right, so that prop, I can't remember what it's called, but we got one of those.
The dynamic doom shroom.
Oh, look. Oh, yeah. Anthony's got his
shroom.
notes here. That thing, now that's not a pneumatic prop, but the movement of it breathing was awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool.
And the artwork is out of this world.
The majority of their stuff is not pneumatic. They run electrical motors, DC motors.
Yes. This guy squatting down, I don't know if he moves or not in this video, but he moves in a way that it's a balance thing, right, Anthony? It kind of just moves back and forth.
It rocks back and forth. It plays with the center of gravity to make it look like it's crawling around on the floor. It's amazing. It's called the Asylum Thrasher.
Yes, got one of those. And a couple other ones. Dude, he's got them there. He's ready.
You got the whole name. You got the list. You're on it.
Dude, their artwork and their movement on everything is just amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And it's so great that they're here in Ohio because now we can go down and pick our stuff up and we don't have to pay shipping and all that stuff. And we're getting good quality props right here in Ohio. Now, I know you guys went and probably checked a lot of that booth out as well. What'd you think?
Just everything there. It's just so smooth that you don't get a lot of the jerking, smashing, crashing.
Yeah.
It's more of it presents more of a creepy factor when I look at that stuff compared to your stuff. Your pneumatics is more like of a jump pop scare. It jumps out at you. Where these, it's the way they move. They rock back and forth. It's just so smooth that you don't get anything else like that with hardly from anyone else.
Yeah.
I remember like walking up to the booth, and especially those two, the dynamic doom shroom,
yes,
and the asylum thrasher. Those particular ones were so simple in concept, but they just looked incredible.
Yes,
like they stood out because the movement was so unique and smooth and clean and quiet, and and I know that we talked about it because I even mentioned that, like how nice they were on the movement side, and you were like, sometimes we like that pop bang crash sound with the pneumatics for some of the scare factor, but it's really cool to be able to put something like that in your room and not have it
you can run something like that more like a distraction where
exactly
you get the bigger bang for your buck with the jump out scares.
Right. And these are something that like are just really clean and they look really good and they fit your scene without kind of ruining it with a bunch of pop bang kind of thing. So
yep.
And they're
cool.
Yeah, I mean we've got, what did we have from them? We got their Wendigo character, and we got their Scarecrow dude. We got him last year.
We have like 3 or 4 different in the cemetery, don't we? Because we've got the popper.
Yeah, and that was
the wall crawler.
Yeah, we got the vulture thing.
Yep. Up
in the house. So yeah, they're like, I'm a regular customer of theirs for sure because their stuff is spectacular. Now I know this next one you guys really dug because you like you've got to come and see this, man. Let's see the next one, Sarah. This is Chamber Creations. Look at that thing.
Man, this animatronic is so cool.
It's all servo driven, real super smooth, lifelike movements.
And it runs on a flex controller, which blew me away.
Yep.
Now there it is with the costume on.
Yeah.
Near silent. The next one you'll see after that even has the leg portion where you see like a waist movement and things like that. There's a lot of things they can do with that. They're all custom made to fit the CFX masks.
Yes.
And they have a huge line of products, so you can get a character that looks about anything you want it to look like.
Well, and the really cool thing, like the mouth movement, and I guess I probably should have got closer up to the mouth. The mouth movement in those silicone masks, the way it was just out of this world.
Yeah.
Like, it really looked good, except for when it laughed. I remember when it laughed, it was just kind of going, ha, 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 ha. You know, the mouth just
had like a jiggle to the bottom jaw.
Yeah, but I mean, so you just don't make it, you don't program it to laugh, and you're good to go.
Right.
But I mean, everything else, yeah, like I got on their list, and it's going to be a minute, but I'm pretty sure we're probably going to have one of those.
Yeah, which is sick. Yeah. I want to play with one of those for 2 or 3 weeks because they're just so cool.
They are.
And the fact that he fully 3D prints the entire unit there. I mean, he's outsourcing the servos, but the rest of that is all handcrafted by him in his own garage.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing was talking to the two of them because it was a husband and wife, and their name escapes me now, but you know, they were wonderful people, but it was so funny because I just assumed he was like an engineer, like, oh, you're a plastics engineer, you're a mechanical engineer, electrical engineer. No, he's like in cars, like he's in car sales or something.
Right.
Yeah, I think
he's
car salesman.
They have a home haunt, and he just loves it, and you know, spends his time making that thing. And I was jaw dropping. It was so cool.
It really was. I'm glad you guys took, because there was a couple places you took me over to that, and you took me over to the drone thing.
Oh,
the drones went up, which was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was so much of that this year. We also went. I think I told you guys about the what was the new controllers?
Igor.
Igor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those things are bad. I mean,
and
wireless.
I mean, for new up and coming stuff, they've got an advantage as soon as they hit the market. With everything being wireless, it can do reporting, so it can notify us when something goes wrong. We don't have to wait on somebody.
That's crazy.
And you know what I loved about them too, because we sat and talked to them for a while, and you know, had our little meeting and kind of told them where we want to take stuff controller wise for our rooms. And you know, a lot of their stuff's still in product development. I mean, I think that they were talking like summer for their first controller release, right?
They said by the end of summer.
Yeah, and but you know, the cool thing is that all those guys too, they were basically like, I mean, if you start working with us, you basically have your own development team. Like, you know, that's helping.
He
like,
said he'd hook us up right with the Discord, so we
get
direct connection to development.
And
that's
so
awesome
to be able to have that kind of access to the people that are programming the box, and also having them willing to kind of basically dream with you on what you want your controller to do.
Yeah,
just so cool.
That's a daughter board setup, so actually those can be swapped out for relays. They can be swapped out for dimmer switches.
Yeah.
It's not just locked in like a Fright Props controller where you buy what you need. You can actually buy a base unit, and then they make different pieces for it.
And I know that, you know, it was really funny because, you know, Anthony and I were nerding out all of Transworld, and we were mega hysterical mega nerd mode for that whole weekend.
Yep.
And you know, it was cool because with all the AI stuff we were learning, and AI integration, and the ways that we could possibly see us using that in the next, you know, 3, 4, 5 years. He kind of went off mic and off the normal sales path. It was just kind of geeking out with us, and that was so fun to talk about where AI can start working into controller integration and some of the things that they're envisioning and dreaming about, and where we were dreaming about, and
facial recognition, AI driven cameras.
Just so many cool things that we were like, man, like this is going to be a totally different world. And you know,
absolutely
totally different world in 5 years.
Oh yeah.
All right, so the next one we're going to look at is a company called Gorgalore. They've been in the game for quite a long time. Kevin Alvey runs that one. Go ahead and show that one. This is a good. They've got really good animatronics, is what they call them.
Is that what this big puppet one was?
Yeah. Yes. I think I got what was that? What was that movie? The Worms in the Ground movie. Yeah, there it is, right there.
Oh, Tremors.
Tremors. Yeah. I almost said Critters, but I'm like, no, that's not it. Now they have this Wendigo thing too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But they have this Wendigo thing that was there, but it wasn't that running when I walked by. That you stand behind, and it's got like this camera.
It's like a mech suit. You wear it.
It's guys. You kind of get into the thing, and I think that's it right there.
Right there.
Yep.
Yeah. So you like get into that thing, and you walk behind it, and it's like all black, and then you got a camera so you can see where you're going, and it was pretty cool. I mean, that thing was spectacular.
Looking at it, it hooks up to his legs with like a stilt hookup.
Yeah.
So he's a couple foot plus off the ground when he's walking with it.
Yeah, it was killer. And Gorgalore they've been doing it for quite a long time. We bought their possum, and then we called it the rat downstairs.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And then we bought their one, not the full crocodile thing, but it was a smaller one.
Yep.
It was the same. It was like an actor controlled. Yeah, we had that out in the tunnel. I can't remember where that's at now because I think I sold that. I sold the rat to Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
I remember a year and a half or so ago, you had me bring it in and you were selling the gator.
Yeah, we did. We sold it to, I can't remember who. Oh, I think the Buffalo guy. That guy in Buffalo, what's his name? Dakota. I can't remember the name of the haunt, though. But yeah, I mean, we have them for a long time before, but they last. That's the point, I guess is what I was getting at was we had them until it got to the point, and their saw machine.
Yep.
Remember that? Yeah, we had that saw table that had the big, and it's funny that I brought that up because I was looking for a picture for one of the podcasts we have coming up, and I was looking for a picture, and I got all the way back to when I sold that, and I had one of our old crew guys get into that thing, and that video kind of went viral because, anyways, it's I guess you kind of had to be there. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
The big saw blade is spinning, and he's sitting there, and he's going, and he's acting like he's saying, and then he just starts doing one of these. And we were like,
the missing podcast.
What are you doing?
Podcast.
Yeah. I'm like, what is that? So
the lost episode of Blood Prison Shakedown.
oh my gosh. I put that on, the places where you sell stuff, and it was right at the end. And I thought, nobody's going to watch the video that far. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to waste the time going into video, cut the end off and all that shit. Yeah, no, they watched the whole video, and I was just getting messages, and like the comments were just lining up. What the hell's he doing at the end there? So it just like turned into this whole thing. It was actually really funny, but that also was a Gorgalore prop. They make tons of stuff. We even have like the little plates that you can put on your table and in your kitchen that's got like severed ears and all that kind of stuff. Good stuff at Gorgalore. The next one, this place is if you're looking for a static prop that's just gonna just blow you away, and they do costumes. This is the one you want to check out. It's called Midnight Studios SFX. Yeah, their stuff is just mind-blowingly awesome.
They had a lot of stuff there too.
Oh man, they got so much.
And most of the stuff was 7, 8, 9 foot tall.
Oh yeah, they're huge. And then you can get them in costumes as well. We had a one of their swamp guys that we used for a long time. Look at those wolves, though, man. Those are just wild.
Yeah, those are great.
They're just beautiful.
That is a lot of work to do all that.
Yeah, the guy, I can't think of his last name, Kyle. I've known him since first time I went to Transworld, they were there. They've been in the game a while. But yeah, just their stuff is just, unbelievable. You can't beat that shit. Midnight Studios. I believe they're based in Arizona. But yeah, if you're looking for good static props, like just to put in a room somewhere, that's where you're going to go. They have just amazing things. They weren't at Transworld last year. I did talk to Kyle, and he said, I believe he couldn't come because he was just kind of jammed up. He was like, dude, I got so much I can't really make it. But he was able to make it back this year. The next video, this place is kind of the famous place of Transworld. This area, I should say. There's two different vendors we're going to showcase in here. This one's called the Dark Zone, and it's called Scare Factory. And they have a lot there. This is where all the big stuff is.
The
like
gigantic stuff.
Yeah, I mean, just the big things. Throw a shout out to my boy Kermit Richmond, who works at Scare Factory. Good guy. Like to hang out with him every year I go. But yeah, get out of my way, buddy. That big one right there. That's what I want. I want one of those. Yeah, and I was hoping to get it there, but a guy who will remain nameless bought it before I could get it. So
that's not the same giant one they had in the middle.
Oh yeah,
previous year, was it?
I love that
different.
witch too. That witch was
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. And over the years, Scare Factory's kind of had a kind of a bad reputation. But they've really tried to turn it around, and from what I understand, they're making headway in that.
Yeah.
But their stuff, like every year you go, like the very first time I went to Transworld, I was just like, "What's the dark zone? What does that mean?" And you go in there, and you're like, "Oh, it's like set
cool.
up so it's
super cool."
Yeah, you can see the things as they're supposed to look like in a dark setting.
I loved because we have their pumpkin arch, but I love that additional extension of those 3 heads
that
crawl
was so
out
cool.
and the talk and like he had that thing locked. The programming looked amazing.
Yep.
It was so cool.
The arch is great. It's solid. I love that thing. It's beautiful. We even used it in our Christmas show.
We did.
We did. That's right. Yeah. The light settings, because we couldn't figure out the light settings.
Yeah, we found the right remote, and then we could finally get the colors.
Yeah, we got the right.
Which
That's
is no
something else.
small feat around here.
Yeah.
Finding the right remote.
I was just getting ready to
is-
ask you, do we still have that remote, right?
Oh, we have the remote.
Okay. Because I was like, what is going on with this thing? Christmas time. So we actually put flame lights in all their mouths so it looked right. Because it was all
during
like,
our season, we
blue,
ran
green.
flame lights, and we actually were able to use the remote for Christmas show.
yeah. So we were actually able to do that. So it'll look right. It'll look better.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give Kermit shit for that one. I totally forgot to do it at the show because I talked to him a few times and I didn't think to say that. This next one is a new company to Transworld. They're new, but they're not new. They were here before under a different name, and they made amazing props. This company's called Killer Props, and I did make some purchases here too.
We got one of those guys, didn't we?
We did. I got one of those, and then I believe I got one of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
But this one might be not him. This next one might be a late season order if he's able to take the order, because I can see this guy in solitary.
Oh,
This next one right here, right there. This guy's pretty killer. Come on now, do your thing. There he goes.
Yeah, that's so great.
Got nice lighting too.
Yeah.
And here's the thing,
so
like
cool.
we talked about the animatronic and the actuating and all the air and how it works. That looks
It
amazing.
looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something
it
like
really
that, you should have it be more banging, clanging, louder. You should see that harder.
The
movements.
movement is great
Yeah,
though in that electric
it does.
chair. It really
it
does. It
looks
looks
cool.
great.
Yep.
Killer Props. The old company they ran. I'm not gonna. I heard there was some drama at Transworld over this. So I'm not gonna bring it up. But I know that we had bought from his old company, and we still have a lot of their stuff. Our zombie horde, our girl on the wall that like kind of does the thing and comes off the wall in the doll room. I think it's supposed to be like an exorcist type thing. We still have them, and we've had to make very few minor repairs to those things. So when I heard they were back, I was like, sweet. And I went and I got a couple more things other than that with Killer Props this year. But that was that electric chair. I'm gonna call him and see, be like, hey man, can you get me one before September?
The lights on it looks great. Yeah.
One of them individual cells down at the end.
Yeah. Well, and the Beastcraft guy with the straight jacket, that's why I bought that guy too, to put him in solitary.
Yeah, he's perfect for that.
And then we just dress
Fill
up
that
some of the
whole end
cells.
up. It'll be awesome.
It'll be great. That's hopefully something we can go a lot this year and not be so, Next one is another guy that's been on the Shakedown, local Ohio guy, Dave Schonk. He runs a company called Closed Casket Studios. And he also, I bought all those props right there that you see last year. Heads, masks, all that good stuff they make, and they are spectacular. The artwork is amazing. And Dave is one of the greatest guys you'll ever meet. He's the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah, super nice guy.
He is. He is just like, I could hang out with that dude all the time. He is a Joe, not Joe. Who am I thinking of? The guy from Seth Rogen. He always gets. Everyone always tells him he looks like Seth Rogen. I think now with his big full beard, he looks like Hopper from Stranger Things. He's not in the video or anything, but he was on the podcast about a year ago. Check that one out. It's a good one. He's a great guy.
I think I helped with that one. I think that's how I met him.
Yeah, he's super cool. And their stuff is just out of this world. And now they've teamed up with the guys coming up in this next video from Hallucinations Creations.
I love this booth.
Yeah.
Seeing all this stuff without
all the mechs.
All the mechs. Just seeing the mechs was fun, yeah.
Yep.
This mech I'm getting ready to show you got some fame and notoriety from some people I talked. That one right there. Just the one doing this.
Yeah, the clever monster energy drink ad instead of what it,
Yeah. I don't know what it was made for.
I don't know what it was made for.
Totally kidding, guys. Totally kidding. But if you see like the shovel dude, like all that mech. So now what you can do, and this is a really cool idea, you can take some of those mechs and get the Closed Casket Studios artwork put on those mechs.
Oh, nice.
So they kind of did a deal where they can do that. So now if you watch over here, get past a couple of the people there, and that is what just some of the stuff they brought to the show to show you kind of like what they're doing. That sounds like Anthony every morning. Now see the
shovel,
the shovel guy. So it's like he did all that.
Where's the Monster Energy drink guy?
Right. But you can like take all those. Now you don't have to use those. You can pick your mech, pick your head. It's kind of, pick your own prop. They put it all up there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how they did with it, but I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
So I hope that goes
a little more customization for your show with animatronics.
Yeah. Because I think animatronics, and you guys can attest to it now, especially you, Anthony, are becoming. I don't ever want to go to a haunted attraction that doesn't have actors. I don't want to ever want to think that you don't need them, because it just adds that more, the realism that you're going to need, that no matter what you do. It's a true
reaction rather than just a programmed show.
But animatronics are becoming have become more and more necessary, I think. Yeah. And they can, if you're short a night on actors, which everybody's been there, they can take that, it's like, well, we've got that animatronic in there that can kind of, do the job of something in the room. Mm-hmm. You definitely don't want to make that your haunt. But it's good to have them. And the more, just like the Chamber Creations guy, I mean, that thing could really, if we get that, I'm like, I already know where this is going to go. Yep. And I'm not getting rid of my actor. I'm like, but I can have him do something else now.
Yep. Right.
Because this guy could totally do that.
You're freeing up your talent. Yeah, and you're freeing up your talent.
It's more immersive. There's more coming at you.
Yeah.
And people want to see that thing that's not real that looks real.
Right.
Everybody's got that fascination.
That was something we were talking about, and I can't remember which exact seminar it was, but, they were talking about how there are some things in haunts that are like genuinely like jump scares or scary, or they're meant to like make your skin crawl, all of that. And then there's some stuff that you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
And the wow factor has a lot of validity to it, like seeing that Chamber Creations thing move was like, wow.
Terminator?
Terminator. It's like, I've never seen, this is a movie, and you're watching it in real life. And I think that, that kind of stuff is fun.
It is. I agree. And it's just becoming more and more, prominent everywhere you go, from big haunt to small haunt. There's a guy here at the Reformatory who is a front office guy. I don't know if you guys have met. His name's Derek. He's kind of tall, redheaded guy, bigger dude. He runs a haunt in Willard.
Oh.
But it's just, he goes, I just do a small thing. I think he's only doing like a weekend, but he might be extending it more. He came to Transworld for the first time this year. And he was just like, dude, I'm telling you, there's something for everybody at this place. And it's pretty badass.
So he runs like a home haunt?
I think it's a trail in the woods, I believe. I'm sorry, dude. I don't know what it's called. I don't remember, but it is an outdoor thing. And a couple of people volunteered from OSR that weren't working, so they went out and did some volunteering with him and everything. And
I know that was something since it was my first year, and I'm still kind of getting into the other side of stuff. I was doing video, audio, and that kind of thing for you guys. But now that I'm starting to work with Anthony closer with animatronics and a lot of the flex controllers and the fright props, fright ideas stuff, and we're playing around with some of that stuff. It was cool to have people kind of explain and discuss where animatronics are useful with actors and how all that works and the integration of it. And I know the Fear Columbus guys, their big pitch in their little seminar was, or their big pitch in their seminar. It wasn't a little seminar. It was a great seminar.
Yeah.
But was that sensory overload. And I think, it was cool, even the haunts that we toured down there, to see their use of animatronics with actors and how sometimes you were using it to distract somebody and the actor was out of nowhere.
Yes.
Or there was an enhancement where you're just sitting there being like, wow. And while you're wowing, there's all of a sudden the actors are there kind of.
Right.
It was just cool to see it all kind of work together and kind of the logic of it and how to use them both and really integrate them all together. It was so cool.
There's a system to doing that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right,
There
exactly. And for a newbie, it was cool to hear that system, because now when I walk through rooms, I think about them differently. You know what I mean? You just do.
It's neat going to different haunts also, because we get to see the different ways people do things. We went to several out in St. Louis while we were at Transworld, and the way the two were put together were completely different.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Where the darkness was complete overload to the ceiling, and there was, I believe, one set you go into and it looks like it's 3 tiers of it inside of a tower, almost.
Yeah.
You could see 2 balconies up above you.
So cool.
Yeah, and then we went to Lemp Brewery.
Yep.
Lemp Haunted Brewery, whatever that was called, and that was kind of. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't as.
It was good for
immersive as it was the darkness.
It was like a totally different feel.
Yeah.
It was a totally different haunt experience.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
where they relied
the style
more
was
on
different.
traditional distraction like smoke, fog,
Right, lighting, yeah.
things like that to
so
run
many
through.
strobes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
many strobes.
Strobes
Just
everywhere.
Like, yep.
Yeah. Well, and the cool thing about that one was like just going in, like taking that spiral
man,
staircase.
that spiral
you're just
down
like,
was such a vibe. Yeah, that
where are we
was
going
so
here?
Cool,
You know what I mean? It
man.
just kept going and kept
it
going.
was so cool.
But the darkness was like, everywhere you look, like there was a textured wall, an animatronic, a prop.
Yeah.
I mean,
ceilings, floors, walls,
everywhere.
every
That-
area was covered.
Yeah,
It was.
that haunt had some wow moments for me. Like
Yeah,
like that dragon room with like the whole you're like in a greenhouse of TVs that are on fire. It was like it was so cool. It was like, damn, this is nice. This is sick.
That room where all the tentacles were hanging
Yeah.
down,
Yep.
holy shit.
There were so many moments where it's like, this is so cool.
Because
Like,
that room, like they did it so good with the lighting and the fog to
Yeah.
make you look like, dude, are we underwater?
yeah,
Because it
it's
really
great.
gave you that underwater feeling. And then it had all those, like, I think they were silicone tentacles.
Yeah.
Because I remember, I think I smacked Jen with a couple of them. You know what I mean? Like, psh,
That's not
you know.
surprising. Yeah.
well, it was just, but it was really cool. And the
It
big
was.
thing in the middle was just
Yeah, it was great.
awesome.
And they had some massive animatronics, massive props. It was super cool.
They had a lot of oversized.
Yeah.
It was
animatronics.
cool. Big. It was great.
No, they definitely the big stuff. But there's more to just animatronics and giant props. This next place is kind of close to us here. It's called Creature Core. I used to work there.
Hey.
Anthony used to work there for a short time. But they do more like masks. They do foam latex masks.
They're
and,
kind of the reason I'm connected here through Ann.
Yes, exactly. It used to be Robert Kurtzman's Creature Core, which I worked there too.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's kind of where I got my start and everything. And here's one of the bodies they made. There's House. And they make a lot of the static props along with just bodies and, like there's the wolf and the big bug guy. So they're kind of, their main thing has always been masks, but they do a lot of, they got like foam latex suits. And the cool thing about foam latex is,
Comfort.
it's light, and it's similar. It's not similar in feel to silicone, but if you do it right, you can get good movement out of it. So like some of the masks you'll see from there are like Anthony's actually wore.
Yeah, when I was acting, I've worn silicone masks, I've worn latex masks, and I've worn the foam latex masks. And comfort-wise for your actors, breathability, the foam latex is off the charts. It's the best I'd worn.
Yeah, and they do a spandex liner on the inside, so it's like real stretchy, and it's just comfortable. You know what I mean? They also do latex masks. They got like a latex half masks that you can do there, and then they do like a latex goat. So they get a foam latex goat, which is a really killer mask. We've got one in our what is it? What scene is that? The
It's in the graveyard, isn't it?
yes,
That's
yeah, right after
yeah.
the church, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got that mask, and they've got a lot of killer masks,
Yep.
and they're just right down the road from us. We got a really good relationship with them, and whenever we need something, we just like, hey man, what's up? I still got a key to the shop actually. They let me kind of come and go as I please. But so there's that, and Creature Core been around for a while, was gone for a few years, and then we brought them back, and good stuff. They got some good props and good masks. If you're looking to get people in masks, I would start there because it's they're just more comfortable.
And we saw them in action because those two haunts we went to.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they do
there's
feature a
all
lot of
over,
Creature
Yeah.
Core
all
masks.
over Creature Core masks.
there was many Creature Core masks, and they had like their living statue in the one haunt. I don't think anybody was in it, but they had that. There was a couple other things I saw. I'm like, oh yeah. Speaking of masks, now these masks are beautiful. This is Immortal masks, and these things are silicone, and they're just stunning. I mean, look at that. Look at that. I mean, and they don't just have like zombies and clowns. They go all over. They've got like cartoony looking clown or not clown, like cows. They've got everything.
Yeah.
But their work is just amazing. Look at that. There's
Detail
there's
of
a
the
cow
movement
mask.
is just amazing.
Yeah, and then it's silicone, so it goes right to you. And that one there Actually, there's a video of that where if you squeeze one of those bulging things on the side of the cheek, like shit will come out of it.
Oh man,
It's pretty nasty. Not shit literally, but I mean, stuff will come out of it.
Well,
but,
whatever you put in it, right? Whatever.
I mean, if you want to put shit in there, I don't know if you're gonna have many actors. Ryan probably wear it, but I don't know about. What they did have this year, though, which I did. I mean, we do have some. I don't know, 6 or 8 immortal masks. They did do these silicone half masks, where it's just the face. I think it's like the face down to about here, and then it's got like a buckle strap on the back. So
those are the ones me and you were looking at.
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. I got like 6 or 7 of those because I had the one girl at Immortal tried it on for me. And it was kind of made for a guy. So her head was kind of small compared to the mask, but it still looked great. And she talked and it looked really good. And so I'm like, I'm going to buy these just because they're not the full silicone. So actors tend to not, I mean, there's actors that'll wear them. You know what I mean? Like your hardcore actors will wear them because they look awesome. Mm-hmm. And if you can get an actor in them to wear them, do it because they're amazing. But this will make it a lot easier, I think, with the silicone. I may confiscate one for Sundays. Honestly, because
and the price point was better on those.
Oh yeah, way better.
Too, so,
yeah, and they're silicone, so they just look. I mean, they just are fucking beautiful. And there's other silicone mask companies as well. You got Immortal, of course. You got CFX, which we talked about with Chamber Creations, Madness Effects, and Shattered Effects. All do silicone masks, and they're all just out of this world. Amazing silicone. When you think about it, silicone has done good things. I mean, I really think so. All right. Up next, we have kind of a prop company. They do a lot of really cool bodies. This is called RIB Effects. Their stuff is pretty spectacular. Their artwork is amazing. I called them up last year, like it's probably mid-October, maybe late October, and said, hey, I'm doing this Christmas show. I need a Santa body. And he made a Santa body for me, custom, and had it done really fast.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. And it was, he actually went a bit, I'm like, dude, I just need a dead bloated Santa Claus. And he was like, no problem. Well, he made it so you could actually pull the head out of it, and the spine comes out about that far.
Yeah.
So it was just like the actors could run around where we had it and like pull his head out and, kill Santa Claus and everything. And it was just... This is beautiful.
It's great.
Yeah, good stuff. RIB Effects. They were at Transworld as well, and they did amazingly. Their stuff is out of this world, and they're relatively new. I think they're probably maybe 3 or 4 years in, and their stuff is killer. Costumes. Costumes are spectacular, and if you can get one of these costumes, I'm going to tell you what, you're going to have to wait a while because this guy, we tried to get one, I think, last year. He's like, dude, I can't get it to you this year. Macabre. Macabre Intentions. They make some wild shit, man, let me tell you.
It was cool.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That guy in the background.
For the cyborg bunny.
Oh, yeah.
In your haunt,
Yep.
Yeah, just the stuff.
Yeah,
like
so cool.
The stuff would go great in that costume back there would go great in the West Cell block for us.
Right.
Where it's real apocalyptic.
Yeah.
They're really complete too. They've
yeah.
got headgear, face gear. It's a complete costume. It's not just like a jacket. It's complete.
And if you go to their website and just look at everything they have, it is just like wow. I mean, it's wow factor level. It really is.
Yeah.
But I think Mitchie, one of our zone leaders, went there last year, and she was like, "I'd like it for this season." He's like, "I can't do that." He's like, "It's going to be next season." Because like they're in high demand for sure. More masks for us here on this next one with Pumpkin Pulp. These guys have been around for a minute as well. They do props, like there you go, is a horse head. But they also do latex half mask, which we've got. We've got the doll mask. We call her the Dark Dolly. They do those kind of props as well. And we've got the gator mask that they do, which is really, really cool. And they just do the half mask, and I believe they're mostly latex, and it's a buckle system just like the other ones I was telling you about. You just buckle it on, so it's not nothing like you can just fit it to your head perfect. I actually have a picture of me wearing the doll mask that I took. I like to wear people's masks when they don't know it. I'm like, look what I did. So just be aware of that, guys. We stayed in a house together, so there might have been things that you're like, I don't remember that being there like that.
I thought that was only on Sundays.
Well, it is only on Sundays.
Yeah. When Vic's around, you sanitize your mask before you put it on.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Because it's not, never mind. You know what? I'm not even going to go there. I'm just saying I might do other things to him. What? Yeah. I might.
Like wear them to Dairy Queen or something.
Yeah, that's what it'd be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember we were talking about putting shit in the one thing? Well, guess what? Get a mask, Aaron, because you're going to be next.
Get a mask.
What do we got next here? This next one, I believe, is... Let me look at my list. I think this is signage. Sinister Signs, if I remember. Yes. Todd Kinsler, I believe, is the guy who owns this. Good guy, Todd. He makes... we got a lot of their signs in our clown area.
Yeah.
Vintage circus signs.
I mean, it really is. A lot of their... Even the little signs like the hazmat type stuff... All these things are different layers. That's why I'm kind of showing everything. I'm not just showing animatronics or costuming and stuff like that. But
I love these. I loved all those flyers too. Like
yeah.
the anatomy drawings they had and stuff. They were so cool.
There's so many different layers to doing this that we do, you know, from a mask to a costume to an animatronic to an actor to air cannons. I mean,
something as small as the webbing in the corner of a room.
Exactly. It's the details that really count, and I learned that from, you know, a lot of people. You know what I mean? We did a haunt a few years back. Well, God, it's been almost 10. We started that over 10 years ago in Crestline when I was still with Robert Kurtzman. Mad Effects Lab is what we called it, and it was just like I learned there. It's just his idea was, which I think is a lot of people's ideas, but he's a movie guy, so we wanted to put a movie set. Like, this is a movie set. This is a movie set. So it wasn't really themed to anything particular like clowns or, you know, an apocalyptic wasteland or a zombie area. I mean, we had all that stuff. But it was like, we want to do a movie set everywhere we go. So, like, the first morgue scene was like morgue in a movie. This was like a fucked up lab that we went to. And then this was the doll room and the creepy dolls. There was an Egyptian room where we had the mummies. There was the werewolves.
No continuity.
Not really, but that's kind of what he wanted to do. So you get kind of everything. Whereas like us here, we're a prison. So we prison theme. Mm-hmm. We try to keep that theme of prison, you know, you're prisoners or some sort of prison relation. But there was just so many layers of that, and me learning from him, from David Greathouse, from Brian Dembski, like all of those combinations. The one thing I got from everything was the attention to detail, and every little detail counts. Every layer down to a sign that just says "Do not enter." You know,
I remember. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that was the thing. The first time I ever walked through with all of you guys when we started like trying to figure out what we were going to do for sound in the haunt and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I came from theater, and so I'm walking around like, you know, everything we do is 20, 30 feet away from your audience. Like, and here I am as your audience member, and I could pick something up off the table.
Right.
And that the level of detail was literally like you were in the scene.
Yeah.
Like, and that, it still blows me away, even working here all these, like, for the last few years, like, on and off, and then now here, like I am, in the capacity that I am, sometimes we're making stuff, and I'm just like, I can't believe we're making this.
Yeah, we're really doing this, aren't we?
Yeah, we were laughing today about it, how it's like a giant, we call it the clubhouse, like, we just basically build a giant fun clubhouse for ourselves every day. Like,
we're the ultimate clubhouse builders.
All the ultimate clubhouse builders, but it's true, like, some of the stuff, especially the new rooms we're doing this year in Blood Prison, like the quality level, I think is just through the roof, and the stuff's gonna look amazing and
gorgeous. All of it,
it's gorgeous, and I think that that level of quality, that attention to details, just unreal.
And it's important.
It's important. I mean, it puts you in it. You know.
Yeah.
From something as small as the grain you'll see coming through a material that you're painting. We have to pay attention to every level of detail.
Yeah.
Where we're putting the nails, what nails or screws we're using.
Yeah. Even like Anthony, even white tags on extension cords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, gotta go. They gotta go. That was kind of the running joke for a while. It's like
long time.
Yeah.
I don't know why they put them on there. Honestly, you're putting them in a sleeve. Just anyway. Yeah.
Well, and it's important
just
though
to irritate people that come.
It is. Yeah. They don't want to do. They'll never see it.
Yeah,
That's the one thing I hate.
65 of them in a 10-minute walk through a haunt. You're gonna notice them.
Oh yeah.
Well, and I think that's the thing I've learned from you guys has been the biggest thing I've learned from you guys has been that the small things add up, right?
Yeah.
So if you're getting the small stuff right, it really translates in the final product.
Sure.
Whereas, if you're cutting the corners, every time you're doing a task, by the time you're done, it's, there's tags everywhere. There's stuff all over the floor, and you could see everything, and the illusion falls apart.
Zip tie tails.
Zip tie tails. Zip tie tails.
Or a piece of
zip tie tails.
PVC or something that we used for piece paint got scraped off of that.
Yeah,
just got to touch it up.
Ruins the illusion.
It does. As soon as they see that, it takes them out.
Yeah.
Oh, they built that with that?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that was just PVC pipe, huh? Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're not supposed to know that.
But you still squealed.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's see. Sinister Signs. The next one, another very important part of acting and the haunt industry in general. And we like to only use the good shit. This is for EBA performance makeup. And that is Rye getting the makeup done and Matt applying. Matt is our head makeup artist. He does all of our makeup classes that we do. And he is a master with an airbrush. I mean, this dude can he can do anything. And he's also a tattoo artist. The dude is just extremely talented.
About any type of applicator you put in his hand, he
seems
to master it.
Yeah. I mean, we've had him paint walls, like these beautiful clowns he did for our clown area. And applying the teeth and the horns. Rye looks like she's going to bite my head off. But, it's important. And EBA, EBA, it's European art.
European body art.
European body art, yeah. That's all we use for our airbrush makeup. Matt says this is the shit. This is what they used in the movies. House, all those guys that I worked with before, that's what they use. So that's what we use because we want everything to be as quality as we can. And that shit is not cheap. Let me tell you.
It's durable for your actors, though. I mean,
your
actors,
you're not going to sweat it off.
Sweat off. It'll be there at the end of the night.
And it's just beautiful. I mean, when it's applied the way they do it, like the makeup team just does an amazing job at applying that. And when you've got such diverse colors on it as well, it's just out of this world. And it smells good.
Oh yeah, berries.
Yeah, it smells like berry soda or grape soda or some shit. When you walk into the makeup room, it's like, you're not smelling like just alcohol or.
It's a pleasant smell to walk into the actor's room and get to smell. I really do miss doing the makeup because it was. That's
right. Anthony also did makeup. He's done everything here. He really has.
The autodidact.
Yeah.
The master of everything.
Oh,
if you're not the master of it, like you'll learn it in a book or AI will teach you it.
Oh, here we go. Let's not get started on AI. I don't even want to do it because
you're like, we're not even going in.
Dude, I'm already in.
You're already in.
Dude, every day.
We know you're in.
Every day I'm creating something and we got into that certain artists are not for it, the AI thing, but I'm like, dude, here's the thing. I am going to make you work more because I have this.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing. I'll never want to put an artist out of work with, a computer simulation.
It's also its own art form. Learning how to talk to it is its own art form.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of is. And then there's some things like House. I used to do audio. So House would always tell, we did this thing where at Christmas we would do, what is that called? Like the white elephant or whatever. They wanted at the old shop, they wanted to do you've got to make your own gift. And I'm like, wait a minute, I can't, no, I'm not an artist. I can't do that stuff because I don't do that shit. And he's like, you're an artist. I'm like, how am I an artist? You do all that audio. I'm like, that's not art. And he's like, it is. It's an art form in some way. And I'm like, well, I suppose, but what do you want me to do? Mm-hmm. I mean, burn you a CD or something? What the fuck, man? Come on.
Sex tapes. Audio sex
Audio
tapes. Yeah.
You guys want to make one? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
We'll get everybody involved in here.
We got a whole podcast studio. Do it up.
Oh my gosh, this is getting bad.
Vic narrating.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. I'm definitely down. Who's in? Anybody? Guys? No. Anthony? No. Okay. But yeah, the makeup is important and it looks good. And we have, I think this last year we probably had the best makeup team we've ever had. I really think so. Yeah. They did spectacular and they learned really good. And Matt leading the way with the airbrushing is great. I mean. He does an amazing job.
Definitely does.
Let's see what else. This is also another makeup portion. This one's actually kind of funny. This is Joe Glenn and Zombie Skin. So this is like latex-based makeup that we use. Look at Joe. He's like, "What in the hell are you doing, Vic? What do you?" And that's exactly what he said when I got done. I stopped shooting that, and he goes, "What the hell are you filming me for?" And I started laughing. I'm like, "I'm going to put you on the podcast, man. I'm going to talk about zombie skin.
I'm hyping you up.
I'm hyping you up.
That stuff is amazing for build-ups. It's got a thicker working texture to it. You can almost semi-sculpt it onto a person and let it dry on.
Now, is it you use it for like between the blending, right?
Yeah, it works really well for seams. Some people actually make their whole look or the appliance out of it.
Yeah.
Form it out right onto the face, or you can even work on it with the fruit roll-up technique where you do it like on a Ziploc bag and then you peel it off the bag and apply it to the person.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Joe's a good friend of mine. He's also a local Ohio guy. Lives, I want to say, up by Akron somewhere. But he's a good dude, and he's got a really great product. I know they even use it, like Robert Kurtzman used it in some of the movies that he does. He really likes it a lot. Zombie Skin, if you haven't tried it out, check those guys out. Good dudes, good quality guys. They'll be at Midwest. They're usually at Midwest. I don't know if he's going to be at East Coast this year or not, which I'm going to try and get us out there, by the way. East Coast Haunters Convention, which is in April, which is coming up very, very quick. So I'm going to try, but we'll see. It just depends on how fast you guys actually get shit done. No pressure. And then the last thing, this is the last video I've got to show, is ticketing, because that is also a level of the haunted attraction industry that's really taken off. How you do your tickets, and what we use is Ticket Spice, and they're based out of California. Since COVID hit, ticketing changed. It's not just buy a ticket and get in line and wait your turn. A lot of people are time ticketing. So you buy a ticket at a time slot. We buy 7:30 tickets or 10:30 or 9:30, whatever you want. And you arrive at that time. We always tell people to get here 10 minutes early. So you arrive at that time frame, and then you get in line, and it keeps your lines. So if you're 7:30, you're 7 to 7:30 people. Some people do 15-minute increments. We do 30. 7 to 7:30, not everybody shows up all at once. Here at the Reformatory at Blood Prison, back in the day, it was
a line to the gate.
Yeah, like the gates open. Back then, they would open at 6. Okay, so like we would have a line of people standing outside the gate all the way down the street to that what is that build? That Edge Plastics building down there. We were just like, oh my God. And then they would open the gate. Now that's at 6. We don't open till 7, because then we sold tickets on site. So they would all come flooding in, and the people who had bought their tickets pre-bought online, they would just get in line. So from 6 to 7, you're waiting an hour. If you're the first person. First person in line is waiting an hour.
To buy your ticket.
That's, yeah. And then to buy your So it was just like.
That's a lot.
Ticketing helped.
It does such an amazing job with crowd management and the flow of your customers. Yeah. Plus, the customers know when they should be arriving. That way, you're not spending all night long in a line.
Right.
I mean, just the flow of the customers. Our actors love it, because I think since you put that in place, we haven't had any extremely long nights. So
really.
Remember before that, there was a couple times.
Oh my gosh.
It was 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And people would like be warriors, like, oh, we were here till 3:05, and fucking lines were out the. And it's just like, yeah, that's all great, and you survived it, but like, would you rather not be done at 12:05? Mm-hmm. And then we can hang out.
See the same amount of people.
Yeah.
Everybody's happier.
It's really made a difference for us, and I know for a lot of other people as well. But I won't go back to the other way unless there's some spectacular reason why to go back to the other way of buying tickets.
It just doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't, and it makes everybody's lives easier, especially the actors, because like, I mean, Anthony, you can attest to it. Anthony was an actor. Yep. And those nights that he ran a chainsaw all night long, we started at 7 and we finished at 3.
Yep.
Damn. We were like, the one night we might have went longer. This is the early days. Like, it might have been more like 4, but we knew.
I remember 4 o'clock morning.
Yeah. I ran through the haunt telling everybody, please don't leave. I'm going to give you guys a bonus for working tonight. We're going to pay you extra. I mean, because it was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's grueling.
We stopped taking tickets. Like, after we got to so many people, we're like, we're sold out. Sorry.
Yeah, weren't we quit? Didn't we stop selling tickets like an hour plus before the end of the night that night?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it pissed some people off. And I'm like, you got to understand, you're going to be upset if you have to stand here. If you get here at 11:45, buy a ticket, and don't get out of here until 4, I'm never going to hear the end of it. I never did.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this way,
I mean, think of it as date night. You can plan to be here for a 9 o'clock ticket.
Yeah.
Go out and do whatever with your spouse, and then.
And you know you're going to see your show.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're guaranteed a spot, and you know you're not going to be here till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
and there's a ton of other. I mean, like we use Ticket Spice. That's just what fit well with us. We talk to a lot of people. There's Tixer, there's Haunt Pay. There's a ton of them. If you look them up, like ticketing companies, you'll see them. But we use Ticket Spice. They've done wonders for us. It also helps with your marketing of your haunted attraction. Like you can buy. We don't have this in place yet. We're working on it, but like you can buy your ticket. I know through Ticket Spice, you can buy your ticket, and then we can put on there like, here's the merch that we sell in the gift shop. So it's like, oh sweet, I want one of these, Warden's Widow shirts. Boom, I put that on with my ticket, pay for it, and then you can get it at the gift shop when you leave. Now we haven't done that yet, but I know you can do that through Ticket Spice. There's all sorts of like other ways you can do it, I guess. Other things you can do with your ticket other than just buying tickets. A lot of places that was the last video. There's some places I didn't get. I mean, Transworld's huge. You guys can attest to that. I mean, there's also a Christmas show. You know what I mean? So if you're doing a Christmas haunt,
we spent a good amount of time over there this year.
That was the scarier part for me, I think. I'm not like a Christmas person. It was very overwhelming.
Just the lighting techniques they use is far advanced from what the haunt industry is adopted.
That is true. Although we're going to integrate some of that, I think, into this year.
Well, and when they first put it in, I thought it was going to be for Christmas attractions, like Christmas, like, we do a Christmas show here. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, it's going to be cool stuff for that. No, it isn't. It's like for actual like Christmas. And I'm
Christmas show. Yeah.
What's going on here? This is a Halloween show. We're taking this bullshit over. But I want to throw some shout outs to some guys that had some really great booth. I get most of the bodies I order are from Ghost Ride Productions. And for whatever reason, I went over and I talked to Mike for quite a while, but I didn't get any video footage. And I'm sorry, Mike. But I love everything Ghost Ride does. Their stuff is out of this world amazing. They do everything from bodies, heads, pumpkins, body parts. They do everything. Little Spider Creations. I don't know if you guys went into their booth.
It was like a little store.
Dude, it was killer.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a lot of old stuff in there that I almost bought that one radio they had in there just for the house upstairs.
Yeah, and just the change from last year's booth was amazing, and this one is
that the one
that one away?
That literally looked like a store.
It looked like
that booth
1800s rickety old store on the outside,
like an old oddity store. Or something.
They
that
always
was so
do.
Cool, man. That was such a cool booth.
They do amazing booths every year.
Yeah, it was so cool.
The most amazing standalone booth I seen was the Haunt Supply booth.
I was just gonna say Haunt Supply.
Yeah,
their booth was a haunt, like almost a little haunted house.
Yeah,
yep.
You walked into it. And they had all their animatronics running, and they had their their
cool.
You got to see everything in atmosphere, in environment, the way it's supposed to be working. So I mean, it gave the customers a better experience. Plus, it gave everybody an opportunity to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah. Well, and like I know when Thursday when we went, it was like, hey, you just walked in and checked it out.
Yep.
But dude, by Fridays, like there was a line.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Outside that, like there's people waiting in line, and okay, go in.
I think the last time I went through, they had like a greeter at the door telling you push the button. And
they got some cool stuff, some cool animatronics. They had that table, that cool table that kind of moves, and they're living portraits. I thought
living portraits were
at first I thought, oh yeah, that's kind of whatever, it is what it is. But then when I saw it move, I was like, holy shit, that's pretty cool. Like the frame,
the picture frame movement. The picture frame movement was so cool. Yeah. It's a great look.
Another place is Pale Night. If you're looking for good blood, you'll want to go to Pale Night. They have the world famous permablood, which is used for props, not for like mouth blood or anything, but
we use a lot of it.
We do. I have 5-gallon buckets of permablood downstairs. We're Blood Prison. We gotta have blood.
Yep.
Another place you're going to want to check out, Pale Night Productions, very good. And if you're looking for a Vortex Tunnel, GEP Productions. Alan Tura over there, and he's like your original Vortex guy. We've got one of his Vortex Tunnels. And that's just, honestly, just everything I talked about that we discussed is really just kind of scratching the surface of Transworld.
Even spending the 4 days we were there, you still miss 30-40% of the show.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much stuff even over in the Christmas area that we could have looked at that we didn't have time for because we were doing our seminars.
And escape rooms.
Yep.
right?
yeah, escape rooms too.
I was learning a lot about escape rooms this year because some of that tech I think is going to cross over heavily into the haunt here in the near future.
Yep.
On the tech side of things, what did you guys see aside from Chambers Creations? Like let's talk a little bit about the actual tech. Like for stuff we make a lot of our own stuff, like just like everybody else does.
Yep.
Yeah. What did you see tech wise that you guys are excited about?
Biggest thing I was studying on this year, I was looking at different types of sensors because primarily we use like PIR motion sensors, which are wide range. So if somebody gets in with so many feet of an area of it, it detects their heat and it activates.
Mm-hmm.
I want to learn more precise controls so it can pinpoint where you're at in the room, so you can have it more interact with a certain location rather than just somebody generalized walking through areas.
Right.
That can tighten things up, make the show more personally interactive instead of just seeing a moving show.
And that's where some of that escape room tech you were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
You were getting it from.
Yeah,
And we're already integrating some
I mean,
of that.
a lot of it, like a couple of things I'm going to be checking out is Mythric, which is a programming software similar to the one director we use from Fright Pops.
Yep.
This is more based around that, where you do full scene control with it.
Yeah.
Just something I'm learning. I haven't dove
great.
way into it yet, but it's one of the things I've got on my mind to do some research on. The Igor controllers for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was amazing. That guy answered a lot of questions. He's looking at where the industry's going to be, not where it is, and that's what I like to see because I'm a techie. I like to see what's going to be happening and try to get in there with it, so we definitely don't fall behind.
Mm-hmm.
Well, getting in early on that stuff too is like really important, which I think is something we did with them specifically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you can get in on anything on the development end, then it's more workable for you because if you have a question, you've got a team of guys that will either try to make it work or tell you, hey, we've already done this. This is what we see with it, and help you do workarounds and things like that.
Yeah.
Where right now with like your Fright Ideas, Fright Prop stuff, there's a huge online community, but you're not in direct connection to the people that made that, so that they don't know quite as much. There's a little bit of a knowledge base gap.
And getting it on the ground floor, I mean, you're basically a prototype for them, right? Like you're their experiment. You're the one getting help.
Yeah,
like test it, run
like,
it.
Hey,
try it.
Can we try this?
Can we try this? And you got a development team helping you try it.
That's awesome.
Working the bugs out.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about the potential there with them.
Yep.
Well, and it's like they were right. Their booth was right there by the dark zone. Like it was that aisle, and I walked down through there a few times, and I didn't really notice.
They were kind of clumped in with a bunch of your gift sales groups, and they kind of like out of place. But I mean, I'm glad we did have that appointment with them and sit down because.
Well, I went over. I was in one of the seminars. I can't remember which one, and it was Ben Armstrong was leading it, and he said, "What is some of the things that you guys have saw at Transworld this year that has like kind of gave you the wow factor?" And two guys were like, "Dude, those Igor controllers." I was like, Igor, and I think I even texted you going, dude, you go to the Igor controller booth?
Yep.
And you were like, no. I'm like, meet me over there. It's this booth. And we met over there and checked it out. And I mean, I got there a little before you, and she was telling me about it. I'm like, dude, I'm not the big tech guy like you guys, but I'm like, that is awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've got to figure out a way to get in on this.
We found another company real similar to those named Cogs.
Yep.
Similar control system, but
escape room tech kind of energy.
Yeah, the more I've researched it appears that you have to have like a game master or somebody sitting behind the scenes watching it. So I don't know how useful it's going to be for us, but I mean they may change it over the years where you don't have to have somebody sitting there resetting the games and things like that.
Right.
But seeing some of because all of their switches and things like that were all wireless. It was all I don't know whether I can't remember whether it was a wireless network link or a Bluetooth link, but if you wanted to trigger somewhere, you just literally just took it over there, and that's
very cool.
And that was some of the stuff with the Igor boxes that was really cool. Is talking about that full scene integration. You're not just using a controller to run your animatronic. That controller is also talking to the controller running another part of your scene and another part of your scene, and none of those are wires across the ceiling. They're just all on the same network. And
theirs is built like a virtual machine. You can actually have 6 or 7 of their different boxes that is viewed as one
controller.
Yep.
And
well,
that's outstanding.
So then the question on those are going to be, as amazing as it sounds, what happens when that controller fails, what happens to your scene?
Yeah.
What's your backup?
Everything dies and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's what everyone's going to think. That's what everybody's saying about it right now.
We discussed that with him, and he said as long as the network can drop out of it and it doesn't drop down, as long as your in-house routing is up.
Yep.
And we did talk to them that,
basically power failure.
Yep.
Like,
which would take down anything.
Which would take down anything.
Right. Yeah.
It'd take down a haunt.
It would be something that they're still working through the R&D part of it. But our input was definitely noted on that because we were talking to him about how the way we have network dead areas in our haunt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So if our in-house network drops, the way they had it set up there, everything would just freeze.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that he was saying we'd be part of the Discord and they can walk us through.
So that it can almost drop, if all of a sudden it loses network and it can't communicate to the master system, that it defaults to its own kind of source program. Like the controller programming, so the animatronic still moves, but maybe it's not moving in sync with the rest of the scene like it would have by design.
Right.
So it has a little bit of a fail safe there that isn't there yet, I don't think.
So it's not going to just all die out and you're fucked in your scene like
the biggest thing's the freeze, right? Nothing's going to freeze. You're still going to get something.
Right.
Which, that's
some of the newer
nothing.
stuff, that's what we're going to see is the whole scene you're in is going to be interacting together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where traditionally up until now, it was each thing was independent and you just built that all together to get that scene.
Right.
And now it's going to be multi-step triggers where somebody does this, that activates this set of triggers, and then when they get up to the next one, it'll keep going. But if they skip one, it won't work.
Yeah.
And that's something that we've been talking about for years at this point, is getting to that level where you're going to start seeing that like network integrated scenes where you can troubleshoot, like as a tech, you could troubleshoot your entire haunt with a screen,
right?
And being like, oh, this zone's down, or like this is down, and being able to actually diagnose it from.
I see it getting to the point where it'll be pushing notifications to us
literally
in the near future,
just saying, hey,
you need to go check this animatronic.
That'd be crazy.
Instead of an actor having to catch it, the animatronic itself will text your phone and be like, hey, I'm broke.
Yeah.
That'll just make your shows run so much smoother. You won't have the downtime. They won't have the blacked out areas where stuff's not working.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the AI stuff that you guys you guys kind of melted my brain with that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It definitely melted my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're even heavier into it than I am. I'm like,
we found
swimming on the
things
surface
on these AIs that it's really great for character development. You can be trying to work with actors. Say an actor says, I'm having a hard time coming up with the line. You can say, hey, I'm this actor. I do kind of this. Give it a little bit of a backstory, and it can spit out 15 sets of lines that just, you don't have to use them all, obviously, but it's ideas.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing behind it. It's going to be an idea mill. It's going to be.
That's kind of what I saw with it. Was like, when people talk about taking over and all that stuff, it's like, dude, if anything, it gave me ideas. Like I saw the one thing is like, I want to see when we were doing just the chat one, what could someone say here? And then it puts a line in, you're like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And it just gets the juices flowing. It gets the gears turning. And then you kind of get on your own and you're doing it on your own. Mm-hmm. It's almost just like something to get you started.
It's
if you're stuck.
It's your own feedback loop.
Yeah,
you know
pretty
what I mean?
much.
And I think the thing that I found fascinating was, I can't remember the guy's name. Do you remember his name?
Todd
Of
Van
course you have it.
Worden?
Yeah.
He's principal architect for, what was it, GPT AI for Microsoft?
Yeah, OpenAI.
Oh, yeah.
OpenAI for Microsoft. And he's Dr. Quantum's designer. Right? He made Dr. Quantum, the one that could see you, hear you, respond to you with its virtual character. Just absolutely mind-blowing when you... Because, you saw Dr. Quantum, and I think just walking by him, you didn't really realize what it was. And then we went to that seminar, and... the thing I actually really appreciated about all the AI stuff is I kind of came from that boat of just, I come from music production, and you can go to Soundful and basically just tell an AI to make you the music track you need, and I'm out of a job. Like,
right.
Done. Like, there's no reason. You don't need me on some level. If it can produce you a track that's essentially mastered and mix ready in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It would take me.
I have been researching that since we got back.
Yeah.
there actually is a rhythm or a pattern that all of this AI generated stuff has. They actually have detectors now.
Oh, that
For,
finds
like,
out whether you
school and
actually
stuff
made
like
it or
that.
not.
Yeah, it detects whether or not it was actually written by a human or generated by an AI.
Right.
I guess it works for sounds, images, and written, because I guess a lot of students are using it to write all their papers for school.
But
yeah, I'd have been guilty on that one.
You know, Todd had some really interesting insight on a lot of that. Like, you know, he kept comparing it. What it was his big comparison was, you know, when they invented the automobile, did all the horse and buggy drivers say, like, oh, you know,
Right.
Like, it's like...
It's just the next step.
It's the next
Yeah.
step. You're not going to stop
Yeah.
it. It's coming. And not just coming. It's here. Like, we literally
Yeah.
were interacting with an AI animatronic. Like, it could see you, respond to you, hear you. It was changing its scene.
It knew my name.
Like, just mind-blowing. Like, I mean, it was... I mean, but it was really cool to have him unpack what actually is happening there. And
he did definitely explain what AI was. I did not have a
Right,
clear
me
picture
either.
of what an AI was until we went through the class.
and I think that if you're smart, you're gonna just jump on board because it's not we're not stopping it. It's here. Like, and so it's kind of one of those things. It's like figuring out how to utilize it. And being one of those people that pivots with the tech and embrace it rather than push it away, you know, and like you said, like idea generation, especially, but like even just, I don't know, it for me, it kind of gave me that I still have this kind of energy where I just feel like the future is here, kind of, you know, and the possibilities are endless and the world is this bright, beautiful, like open space again kind of thing. It's crazy. And yeah, like, I don't know, like,
I mean, it's good for everything. I'm envisioning 5-10 years from now, they're going to be using it for things like grief counseling, things like that.
It's pretty nuts.
As long as you have an identity on the internet or like a social media page, it will be able to recreate you, the way you look, the way you move, that you can have that one last talk with a lost relative.
Oh, come on. I don't know about all that
crazy,
noise.
dude.
I see what you're saying, but like,
crazy.
see, I'm still like this stuff that we're talking about, like the idea, images, wording, and stuff like that. I'm all for it, but like, my wife bought a Roomba. I hate that damn thing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna kick it down the steps first chance I get.
Yeah,
she's got a car that drives its damn self. I'm like, I was driving her car, and I about ran off the damn road, and she's like, "Oh no, it's got that." I was like, "What the?" She's like, "Oh no, it's got that." I'm like, "Turn that shit off." I'm like Will Smith and iRobot.
You know,
it's like you driving on the way out there, not liking the auto restart on the car when it stops.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
But 5 years from now, you can tell your Roomba what you don't like about it and can change it.
Yeah,
you know, and that's where it starts to get a little crazy for me, where it's like, you know,
you can talk to it. You can be like, revise this about this, and it'll go back and redo whatever it just did and change just that.
Until it says no, I'm going to kill you.
Know, I know. The things that I was immediately interested in after Todd's talk was, you know, where the lag time, or kind of the tedium and the lag time between the creative idea and the end product. There's, especially in, like, the thing that I kept coming back to was the Christmas show that we did, like with the Christmas light show.
Yeah.
Because,
we had 100 hours in programming that.
Yeah, like,
it could have done that in minutes.
It could have done it in minutes.
That part I love.
And it could have given me 20 variations of the show, you know, and every single night it could have been a totally different variation. It could have generated all the music itself. Like, and we're not there yet, but it's coming quick.
Yeah.
And I think that, and then I think that there's a level of like, there's a level of excitement to me for that, because it's like,
it's gonna be cool.
You know, it's like I don't feel replaced in that if I can have a computer code the controller,
you're still
spit
the
out
one making the show.
Yeah,
you're using it as a tool.
Exactly, and it can spit out 30 variations of the light show, and I can tell it what I like and don't like, and have it fix it and bring me the show that I want as quickly as possible. The reason that's cool to me isn't because I feel like it's replacing me. It just means that I can now do that in 10 different locations in the haunt, because I have the 30 hours that used to go into one show going to 10.
See, we had that experience writing that show this year.
Right.
Where imagine if we had 10 times the amount of devices.
Right.
It would not slow that down at all, writing that much more of a complex show.
Nope.
Where that would exponentially make our writing of that 10 times more complex show multiple hundreds of hours.
Yep.
And that's where it's going to really help.
And, you know, and it's funny, I kind of compared it to culture. It's like, or at least in my head, I keep comparing it to culture, where you're, you know, we're humans. We're always going to be human, and the people and the things that we're interacting with are more or less going to be human, right? And it's like artificial intelligence is its own thing and is going to continue to grow into its own thing. it's never going to be human. So on some level, you're always going to be needed because it's never going to fully understand.
And the way he explained this to it, it is a map.
Right.
It is nothing more than a map. And
it's a probability engine. That's what he kept saying. It's a probability engine. It's not even actually thinking. It's just spitting out the most likely outcome.
It's got an algorithm that gives a set of numbers based off of every 4 characters. And then them 4 characters are basically a lat-long navigation through a map of every word that's ever been spoken.
Yeah.
That's all it is. There's no thought process behind it.
Well, the way I see it, what I like about it is if we're 50 layers deep in the haunt, this thing's going to add 150 extra layers like that and really just make it that much more deep and more that I'm just like, so that's exciting. It really is.
Load off of us, basically.
Yeah, and it lets us focus on the stuff that gives us life and energy and excitement, like creating, and it takes the tedium away. Yeah, you know, and the
I don't see it coming taking the saw out of my hand.
Yeah,
I don't see it coming and take that saw out of my hand.
Give the Chambers creation guy a couple more years, and it might, you know.
Yeah. Well, there is that.
Maybe we can combine Igor and Chamber creation.
That's we got some exciting things we're talking about, so we'll see.
Well, I really enjoyed Transworld with you guys this year.
Same.
We had a lot, like everything we did from just being at the show, and this was my first year in quite a while going because I usually go as a vendor with Creature Core. This is the first year, so I got to see a lot more, and I still feel like I didn't get to see everything.
Yeah.
Just between taking the seminars and everything. But if you're a haunter, if you haven't been out there, you really need to check it out. You got right here. You heard it first timer, second timer. You know what I mean? It's an amazing show, and just the difference from 2023 to 2024 was huge.
Even though it was only 2 years for me, just seeing one versus the other, not seeing anything in the past, it was hugely different.
It absolutely was, and it's exciting.
Yep.
Because I think this industry is growing by the day, and it's just going to get better and better, and it's just going to provide that more. I mean, when you're in like we're in Ohio, so in Cleveland, Cincinnati, Columbus, you got more to do there. And there's haunted attractions there, and they're all amazing. There's, Nightmare Cleveland, Fear Columbus. There's Dent Schoolhouse, just in those 3 cities, and they're awesome. But like when you're in Little Mansfield, Ohio, when you can bring like a big city kind of attraction, it gives that something to do.
Yeah.
Aside from baling hay and that kind of shit that you do in the cornfield in the middle of Ohio. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying, though? It gives you that extra thing that you can do, that's something to do.
Sure.
That is anywhere, but here I think it's really important.
Yeah.
It's really important that you can be a big attraction like we are in the middle of, rural Ohio.
I mean, people look forward to us all year coming to our show.
Oh, yeah. They do. We have so many people that come back, and that, and again with the ticketing, like you can really make it an evening.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted to go to Nightmare Cleveland and then come down here and then maybe hit the Akron Schoolhouse, you can do that. You can do that in a night because of things like that.
Yeah.
And the way it's going, and it's exciting. You know what I mean? It really gets the blood flowing,
And I think it's interesting because even if like you went and you didn't have any budget, you weren't going to buy anything, you just went to be in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
The enthusiasm you leave with and the ideas you leave with are worth the investment of just going to the show, because it's like you see so much that, at least for me, especially as a first timer, I would never have thought existed.
Right.
And it's like, and then once you've seen it, you can't unsee it, and then it just you're just start spinning with all the things. Tell
me, like from your end, because we've been in this for a minute,
right?
From your end, like going to Transworld, right? And then us going to the Darkness and Limp.
Yeah.
Like kind of seeing everything there and then seeing it in the attraction and how it was used.
Yeah.
You kind of start to see everything where it all just kind of disappears and you see the bones of how everything works.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it when I go through now. That's how I see.
I mean, and and we got, it was fun because we were all there with the crew and stuff. So it's like, we're haunters, right? And so we're going in, and we're walking in with it. At least for me too, it was fun to walk in with just a totally different energy of like the bones, like let's see how this ticks, but then also just being like, like I don't know. I can't really explain the. It was a surreal feeling of being like, yes, like this is really cool. This is how this happened. This is like such a neat idea. Like this is and then being like, oh wait, who made this one? And you can literally go talk to the guy the next day, and be like,
that's cool.
Hey, this was a really cool thing. How did this happen? And that relationship starts immediately. And now you're talking to the guy that built it. Yeah, and I've never experienced anything like that in any industry I've been in, where literally you can go meet the guy that did it. Yeah, some of them are the guys that did it first. And it's like in the experience and the exposure as somebody that's new to it coming in, it was just like, you're like meeting legends. It'd be like if as a music producer walk in and just like, everybody you ever thought made the best records ever all sitting in the same room talking to each other. And it's like, there's no energy like that. Yeah. There's nothing quite like that.
The haunt world definitely has a DIY type of feel.
Yeah. And that was the thing that was so cool. I love just everybody that I met, just so down to earth, so chill, so nice. Most of them just so willing to talk and what do you do? Like, oh, that's cool. And just like that community feeling with so many talented people and just intelligent people and just
everybody's so willing to talk too. I mean, over the years I've just reached out to other haunters across the country. Just random questions. I see something they post, a picture, something they made. I'm like, hey, that looks really cool. How did you do that?
And it's funny
like that, and they just respond and they'll talk to you. They're excited to tell you about it.
I'm not even really that into like Halloween, gore, horror. Like I'm not really that guy. But the imaginations of some of these people, and then sitting with people that have those kind of imaginations all in one space, it was just like, this is the most creative thing I've ever been exposed to. Like the most creativity in one room, like one space, and it was inspiring, super cool.
And if you keep going to like haunted houses and seeing what they do, it's nothing but inspiration, because that's what I recommend everyone. Like, go to haunts, go see what they're doing, not to rip them off, but to like get an idea. We could do something like that. That could be cool. You know what I mean? Yep. But we would have to do it this way, or you know what I mean? It's like, and like Anthony said, most of them will be willing to say, "Here's how I did that. Yeah. I did it this way. I bought this thing, and
and this is what went wrong with it. Yeah, or this is where we ran into snags, or this is and the yes anding, right? That's like the big thing, like the yes anding of just like, hey, here's an idea, and then somebody's like, yes and this, and it's like yes and this, and I mean, you could do that all weekend and never run out of things to jump off of, and generate new concepts for and brainstorm with. It's just crazy.
It was such a good time. I'd never left Transworld, so usually I leave and I'm just exhausted and tired and trying to get the alcohol out of my body, but this year, and my wife actually pointed out, she goes, do you think maybe this is the first year you went to Transworld and you didn't get hammered? And I was just like, that might have something to do with it,
maybe,
but I don't know. Maybe I'll test it out next year. I'll get hammered
and see if it's as good.
Yeah, see if it's as good. But no, I mean, I just think everything that was there was there just from last year to this year. Yeah. If you would have been there last year, you would have seen the difference. And it was like, because last year I remember thinking, it was like, there wasn't a lot of new stuff here, where it was like, it was a good show.
Even though this year it was just year, I was still already familiar with most of the names I was seeing there. There were still all the new ones, but it was overwhelming. But this year was so much different. Yeah. I mean, just so much different stuff. Last year I remember seeing a lot of duplicates at a bunch of different locations, and I didn't see much of that.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting how that worked. Like the same pumpkin thing was at like 2 or 3 different booths, and I was like, I don't know what's going on there, but
didn't see a lot of that this year.
No, not so much, and a lot of new faces, which was cool.
And that might have something to do with it, a lot of new faces, a lot of new things.
Yep.
Yeah, just like the Haunt Supply and the Chamber Creations, those were 2 new guys right off the bat. I mean, the Haunt Supply guy, I know one of the guys there. He's been at Transworld many times, but I think Haunt Supply is just a new to the show. You know what I mean? But I
didn't realize that. I figured they were veterans of the.
They're veterans
in the mini haunt.
Yeah, they are, but I don't think they're like veteran vendors.
Gotcha.
That
set design was.
They will be if they keep doing what they did there.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Oh yeah, no, they did some good stuff. They had cool lights and but there's just so much you can get into, and then just then hanging out with your crew and meeting all there's people we see out there every year
Yeah.
You know, that I look forward to seeing. Like I see Kermit from Scare Factory. I see what's his name he's got a great last name. Toynbee is his last name. He's got a haunted house in Kansas City. I believe it's in Kansas somewhere. I see him every year, and just seeing those guys every year, the people you get to see once or twice a year, you know, it's always fun on that level too.
Yeah,
for Transworld, you meet a lot of different people. I know you met some people.
Yeah.
You know, I know every time I came to the Marriott, you were talking to new people at the bar.
Yeah.
You know, so it was just, you know,
Yep.
you seem to like the bar a lot.
No, I don't drink, but I like the energy.
I'll tell you what we're gonna do.
I will do if you put me in an Uber with a Somali.
We're gonna find a Somali restaurant in St. Louis next year. We're going. I'm getting some goat, man.
I will. Yeah. I'll have. They'll be having the whole family over. It's like a whole thing.
Well, guys, I appreciate you coming and doing this. I know Anthony was on one other time. We'll get into that maybe a different time. How we had a podcast with Anthony and somebody else, one of my old techs, and we lost all the video. I don't know who did that. I don't think Sarah was running that show.
It was not me though. It wasn't. It for sure wasn't me.
Yeah.
It will always be known as the lost episode.
The lost episode. We've still got the audio. I'm pretty sure we still got the audio on that.
We do still have the audio.
Yeah, we could make like little clips of like Anthony and Mike.
We could have AI generate we could have Sora generate a moving motion picture of that podcast episode from the audio.
Transcript that out into an audio.
I would hate to see what AI would come up with just from that audio transcript. God. It would just be bad. I don't know if I'd want to be a part of that.
I don't know if anybody wants to be a part of that.
All right, that's going to wrap it up. The next Blood Prison Shakedown we're going to do is with, we're all going to keep it close to home in Blood Prison. We're going to do the OGs of Blood Prison, the people that are still with me from the old haunt. We're going to do a little different. We'll talk more about that coming up because we're probably going to do it somewhere different than in here. Mm-hmm. I wanted to put that out there. We're going to go somewhere else in this magnificent prison we call home and probably do it from there. We got to figure out a few logistics, but that'll be the next one. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We will be back soon, and be sure to get out to Blood Prison this year because we got a lot of good shit that we are incorporating that we learned at Transworld, and we are excited. I hope you guys are too. Thanks, Aaron and Anthony. You good?
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks. We'll see you next time. That's it.